Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode of MES que un podcast. It's your Uncle John here with Baby Booga, and we're going to be diving into all things Barca. Barcelona sitting at the top of the La Liga table once again. Big win over Las Palmas. We'll be doing a full match review, get into some player analysis, discuss some details. We'll then turn ahead to the future. This week, we've got a Copa del Rey semifinal matchup against Atlético Madrid. We've got Real Sociedad next weekend, so we'll do a little match preview, give you our lineups, give you our predictions. And speaking of predictions, we've got the UCL bracket up. We'll be giving our predictions for how that's going to play out. Going to be fun. I'm excited. I'm going to try to not get too excited, but I'm pretty pumped for this one, looking at the bracket there. So, like I said, here with Baby Booga, my wonderful listeners out there, you know what to do. Drop a like. Make sure you're subscribed so you can participate in the conversation. We love to hear your comments. We read them throughout the week. We love to dive through there, keep the conversation going. So like, subscribe, leave the comments, all that good stuff throughout today's session. I'll stop talking. Baby Booga, how you doing, sir?
Good week, mate.
Very good
week. You know why?
Very good week.
We're back on the leading charge. You know, we're back on the top of La Liga table. That's what I want to see from us. And you know what? I also like that even though we haven't played the best, you know, the game against Rayo and the game against Las Palmas hasn't been the best of, you know, our performances this year. But I gotta admit, I feel that this is the sort of games that makes you champions. I guess that's a sort of cliche nowadays for football fans and for football teams out there. It's something you always hear pundits, people like us on socials, on videos, say on podcasts, whatever. But it really does make sense. It really is those games that the points it takes you. Normally, Barcelona in games like this where Real Madrid, you know, drew, where Atlético Madrid lost, normally the opportunity comes around and Barcelona would stumble. They normally wouldn't take the opportunity. They wouldn't, you know, grasp it by the scruff of the neck and take the opportunity and, you know, move forward with it. But we managed to get the win against Rayo Vallecano. We managed to get the win here against Las Palmas. That's what we want to see from this team. And that's why I'm happy, more importantly, because it seems that we have learned a bit, because last time we stumbled against teams like this precisely. And this time around, when we're facing them in this second run, we are managing to, you know, crawl back and get those points that is actually, it's like we are getting this second luck, this second chance, and we're stringing up those points, making up and learning from our mistakes. And that's what you want to see. You don't want to see your team make the same mistakes twice in a row. And that's progress. That's what you want to see. You want to see your team learn from their mistakes.
Yes. Amen to that. We're winning ugly, which is, to your point, what champions do. It's not going to be flying high, beautiful, yoga bonito football all day long. That's not going to be the case, right? So yes to all that. For me, one of the big things that this club has worked out, and credit to Hansi, it's, I think, the rotation of the players, particularly in the midfield. Early on, like I can remember back to, I forget who we played, but Hansi did like wholesale changes, and we just were out of sync, couldn't get anything going chemistry-wise, and it was clear that Hansi hadn't quite found the balance of how to bring in players outside of the starting 11 and how to get those rotations going. Now that we're more than halfway through the season and he's got a good sense of what each player can bring and how to get the most out of them, I think the rotations are there. I think players are feeling fresh going into this last leg of the season. And I'm excited. I think we're ready to go. I know that there's still some hurdles. If we look at our schedule, there's like 3-4 matches maybe that give me some hesitation, but it's in Barca's control right now. And that was not the case, 4 weeks ago? When did we have Sam Marsden on? We looked at the schedule, and I'm going to defend myself a little bit here. I was sitting there going, hey, I think Real Madrid are going to stumble. I think we have a chance in this. Most of us in that conversation were saying, no, not possible. But look at us now, baby. We're at the top. So I'm pretty excited about this.
And at the end of the day, like those games against Manchester City, like maybe, you know, Real Madrid did win those, but in those games, you know, those fixtures in the Liga, that's where we made up those points, you know?
Yeah. They won their matches against City, but it comes at a cost.
Exactly. And maybe they could have beat Espanyol there's always going to be the controversy, but at the end of the day, they didn't. And we just got to capitalize on what we're given. And yeah, there's no problem in that. I'm not someone who really likes to discuss referees and things like that. And they can cry about it all they want. We can cry about our decisions all we want. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It only comes down to we are both amazing teams. We don't need referees to really go our way to beat teams like this. Like the amount of money, sure. the quality of the players that we have, both teams, both set of fans support teams that are good enough to be able to win games like this more than
both
by
clubs
a margin
are good
of
enough.
2 goals.
Yes, both clubs are good enough that even poor refereeing, even inconsistent refereeing, shouldn't be enough to derail the accomplishments.
Exactly.
Of the club.
That's
what you're
that's
saying.
The thing that I always say. Like, stop bitching about it. Like, shut up. I don't care.
Even though, we will complain when it goes against us. That will happen.
Yeah, but
But at the end of the day, you're right.
Like, shut up. Don't cry. You're grown.
Shut up and move on.
Exactly.
Who stood out to you in this one? We had a little bit of struggles in the first half, a little bit of a slow first half. Ended up winning 2-0 thanks to goals off the bench, Danny Olmo and
I think it's clearly,
baby.
I think it's clear to see who were the standouts in this game positively. So first of all, I think we have to mention those that I was a little bit surprised. And this is not a dig at anyone, but we just gotta say
coming. Here it comes.
We just gotta say it like
you're holding a shovel right now.
Pedri wasn't at the best level that he normally has been. He was still like a 7 out of 10, but he was playing like at 9-10 levels every single game week. It's
Pedri criticism.
It's just he hasn't been at that level during these last 2 games, but that's perfectly fine. Against Rayo Vallecano, he had a proper like magic touch masterclass, but it's like he was missing a lot of touches, a lot of passes, a lot of progressive advancements in this game. And you can see and this is not a dig like at him precisely. I'm trying to say that when he's not at the best, you can see that how we're missing a lot of creativity. And that's when Hansi Flick had to bring in Dani Olmo in the second half to give a little bit more of an extra partner to Pedri so that we can have a little bit of a attack team there, somebody else that could to aid Pedri in the progression of the ball. And I also think that a lot of that came down to maybe even Casado playing in this game against a low block like Las Palmas, who were not really, I would say, not the lowest of blocks that we've seen. They're a team that were maybe defending with a higher line that we would have anticipated. But even though you can see that ultimately, Casado is still a player that plays with. It's so good to have someone like him because he's so relaxed in his nature. He doesn't really. I don't think that he feels the pressure of being. I feel dismantled by someone like Frank de Jong of the team, but you can see the difference of quality that there are in both those players, right? It's not that we need to compare them between the two. It's just that. I mean, like we have a player in their prime in Frankie de Jong and someone who, when he's at his best level, he can be one of those best midfielders in the world. And Flick has to get him to that level. And he's slowly getting that, right? And slowly approaching him into that right direction. Casado is a different sort of player for a different sort of match. Actually, it's weird because I think it's the first game where, was it this one or the previous one? Where we actually did see Frankie and Casado. I think it was against Rayo. Or was it this one that we saw? Pedri rested? Which one was?
No.
I think Pedri rested. Pedri was taken out in this game. And we saw Frankie come in for Pedri. And then we stuck with Frankie and Casado. Yes. And it was the first time when Hansi Flick came in, I thought that was going to be the starting midfield. But I can see now that it's not enough to have only one of them be that, creative player. Pedri has to be there. You can just see that ultimately he's totally the engine and the main.
You're saying you're not a big fan of the Frankie de Jong Casado combo.
No, I was going to say that initially I was I was thinking that should be the starting when Hansi Flick first signed. I thought that was going to
really.
be. I thought that was the most balanced midfield.
Yeah.
But seeing Pedri a little bit deeper, I just feel that he's on a whole different level.
I agree with that. So I will concede, despite my initial reaction, I will concede we weren't really seeing the full magic man Pedri in this past match. I'll give you that. What stood out to me more, though, is that he's really becoming a box-to-box midfielder. Mm-hmm. You're seeing Pedri get stuck in the midfield, winning balls back, and not just in the attacking third to stop the transition, but actually tracking back, closing down that space, winning the ball back. So our little magic man is really becoming a box-to-box midfielder. And I think as he matures in his game and as he matures physically, right? Remember, he's going to put on another 10 pounds of just man muscle coming in, right? I think that's going to add to his game even more. And it's going to be that much harder for defenders to deal with him because he's going to be picking up the ball in all areas of the pitch. So I'm pretty excited for how Pedri is developing. I will also agree with you that I don't really like having Casado and Frankie out there at the same time. I think they're too similar in how they like to cover the space and the space that they like to move into on the attacking side of things. So I think Frankie or Casado alongside Pedri, and then depending on the opponent and the occasion, Gavi, Olmo, Fermin would be third for me, and we go from there. But I'm with you on that. Are you sold on Frankie de Jong being ahead of Casado in the depth chart now? Because we've seen this now for a few weeks. Basically, second half of the season, we've seen Frankie really reestablish himself.
Yeah, I'm pretty much sold out. Because I think that the way that Hansi Flick defends, if you can get like the whole team pressure, pressuring and being as compact as possible and pressuring as a unit, then you don't really need a CDM that is as just as a, I don't know what's the word, like being a CDM, like just being a ball winner. You don't need that precise, that you don't need a ball winner.
It's more of a group effort.
It's more of a group effort where like I pressure this player, he then have to, you force him to pass to this area, and that's where Frank de Jong comes in and gets the ball. And if you are able to do that, if you're able to cement that into this team, and you are able to get someone like Frankie there, you get a much bigger positive effort or positive benefit from having someone like Frankie de Jong in the team, because his qualities on the ball are far greater than someone of Casados at this current moment. So that's what I think Hansi is trying to look at. And that's why I think we're seeing more of Íñigo Martínez and Cubarsí than someone like a Ronald Araujo, who I think personally is a better defender than someone like an Íñigo Martínez. But because Íñigo Martínez, he's a great defender in his own right, but knows and already understands the system a lot better and knows how to keep the offside trap alongside someone like Pau Cubarsí. So I think that works better altogether. They work as a unit far better. So Frankie de Jong, for me, is higher up in those charts. And I'm thinking that when it comes down to those latter stages of the Champions League, if you really do want to win a competition, you really want to fight to win the very best, you want to be a champion like in La Liga, for instance. If you want to win the games against Atlético and Real Madrid in the return games, in the semifinals of the Copa del Rey, for instance, against Atlético, having someone like a Frank de Jong, who, I mean, it's a bit hypercritical, because it's a bit hypercritical for me because of saying this, because, like, for instance, Casado put an amazing ball from Lewandowski in the Clásico, remember?
Sure.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't think Casado did anything wrong.
No,
it's not like his performance dropped.
Yeah, it's like, I was gonna say, you want someone like Frank de Jong to be there to put an amazing ball, but it's like, it's a good thing to have, because both are amazing players, and it's not like in the deficit of anybody being bad or anything, because as I can say, Casado did an amazing ball in El Clásico, for instance, for Was it in the Supercopa? No, I think it was
no, it was the La Liga win.
It was in the
where
Liga
he fed Lewandowski for that first
he fed
goal.
Lewandowski that through ball. But then Frank de Jong also did that ball, an amazing. He also circulated the ball very fast for the next goal of Lewandowski, and he got the ball to Balde. Remember for the second goal in the Clásico. Like both of them are incredible players, and actually that El Clásico, I think Frank de Jong was one of the most important players. Like Flick got it on point by subbing Frank de Jong on. So it's like they're both incredible players for different situations, and I think that this team is working very nicely because we have different players for different profiles, different players for different teams, for different rivals, different opponents. So I'm liking it. But overall, I think there are going to be more games where Frankie is going to be more useful. So there's no problem with it. Like we're a team at the end of the day, and I think people sometimes forget that. Like people are you saw, for instance, like I'm just gonna end this because I think I'm talking too much. But I'm just saying, like you saw when Ferran Torres scored the goal, in the 94th minute. You see Araujo, who's not been playing a single minute in the last few games, and Pablo Torre, for instance. I thought about this. I'm like, seeing Araujo, who's not been playing, just renewed. I would be like annoyed that I'm not playing. I renewed for more money, and I'm like, I want to feel important. I could have gone to Juventus, get more money somewhere else,
Yeah.
And I'm just there sitting, not playing, and they make me warm up in the 94th minute, and I know that I'm not gonna come on. And I'm Pablo Torre, and I always warm up, and I never come on. And I
unless Gavi says, "Coach, put on Pablo Torre."
Yeah, so that's like even a dig at me because they say like I don't play.
Yeah.
And at the 91st minute, Ferran Torres scored, and I go and celebrate that. It's like people forget that sometimes like they're a team. I don't think we as external to the team see that and put ourselves in those positions. But sometimes when you're there, they know how to put that thing aside.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I think this is a pretty close-knit squad. I think, we've discussed a lot about who's getting playing time, who should start, this and that. And we've also come around to the idea that it takes everybody. It takes more than the starting 11. You have to have a deep squad with the number of fixtures that you have between domestic fixtures and tournaments and everything going on. You're going to have injuries. You're going to have tired legs. You're going to need everybody at the club and everyone understanding their role. So I think, again, credit to Hansi with the rotations and managing the player attitude, the player's mentality as well. He's got to be having discussions with these guys to keep the attitude right, to keep those lines of communication open. Like
exactly, like this game is Dani Olmo, and it doesn't mean that every game has to be Dani Olmo. That's correct. The point. Like you need to be able to have every player constantly happy and fit to the point and be sharp for every match, so that maybe in a game where they're not showing up, they have their moment. This is the moment of Dani Olmo. For instance, Spain in the what do you call it, in the Euros, Dani Olmo had a game, bang, they won in the semifinal against the moment against Germany. Then it was Merino. Then it was Dani Olmo against what's the other game they played? Forget it. The second goal against France. That was Dani Olmo. Then you had Nico Williams against Italy. You had Lamine Yamal then against France. You need these players to show different moments. It's not always going to be one guy to carry you to the very best. You see Liverpool, like for instance, Liverpool, the team that beat us at Anfield, nobody would expect it. It was with Wijnaldum and it was Origi that kicked us out of the Champions League. They had their moment. They never showed up again.
I don't want to talk about it.
But you know what I mean, like Joselu, the season Real Madrid won the Champions League not the previous season before, against Bayern. He showed up, 2 goals, bang. He never showed. What did he do for Real? He only showed up in 1 game. That's the end of his career, So it's like, that's the point of having a team. It's not just having the best players show up all the time. That's never going to happen. It's being a team, showing up when you needed them to. And today we can celebrate Dani Olmo. And we all celebrate Dani Olmo. And that's the point. And they're happy with it. You see Ferran Torres, he celebrates like Dani Olmo because it's his day. And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it is good to have Dani Olmo back. I think we needed him in a match like this. Again, like you said earlier, Las Palmas was not playing the deepest, most compact um what's it called? Low
Low
block.
block.
Yeah. I was gonna low block, sorry, brain fart there. The deepest, most compact low block, but it was not an open match. And we needed somebody like Dani Olmo to come in because we really just weren't getting what we needed, I think, from Fermin Lopez in this match. And I think he seemed a little disappointed to be coming off, but it's the right move. It was absolutely the right move. Something to consider. I'm kind of curious your opinion on this. When we play these teams that do come at us with a lower block, is there an argument to be made that perhaps Ferran Torres should actually play over Lewandowski? And I say this because in the low block, I know Lewandowski's a poacher. He knows how to find the space. He can get on the end of a cross, all those things. But Ferran Torres, I think, has a better chemistry with the rest of the attacking players. He's a little bit better at finding the space to link up, to get that one-touch pass, and also has a little bit more pace for those opportunities where we can catch them on a counterattack. So I'm kind of curious if it popped into your mind at all that maybe a match like this would have been better for a Ferran Torres to get the start. Am I onto something, or is this going to be one of those Americans don't know ball comments type of clips?
No, I think this is one of the ones where Americans do deserve respect because because the shark baby, because he does deserve to play games like this. I do think that that's where Lewandowski does struggle a little bit. I don't know why in the hell does Lewandowski have in FIFA in FC25 the trait of false nine. What? Do you know
I
that?
think that has to be layover from some of the Xavi era where he was asked to kind of like drift out to the wing or drop in more and blah blah blah. And some dork working for EAFC was like, "Oh, I guess Lewandowski's a false nine now."
Yeah, sure.
Don't get me started on EAFC.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Game,
that's what I mean. Like Lewandowski is anything but a false nine, and
yes.
in a game like this, that's what you need. You need a player who not exactly a false nine, but you need someone who is able to identify and make runs so that the defense is unstable. So that
you need someone that's going to be more involved with the link up play.
Exactly, someone who's going to be able to make Pedri find a pass and open up space. So then you have I don't know, whatever player, Mika Marmol, track Ferran Torres, and then you leave a gap. And then somebody else makes a run into the space, be it Dani Olmo, be it Lamine Yamal, be it Rafinha, be it someone. And Lewandowski doesn't do that. Lewandowski is not someone who's going to waste his energy doing that. You know, he tries, it's fine, but that's not the trait of his game. I actually would, I don't know, Ferran Torres and Lewandowski, they can work together. You know, Ferran Torres could play in the Dani Olmo position behind, but Dani Olmo also does that great because Dani Olmo, I think, it's a kind of a mixture into what a shadow striker. You know, you could say a number 10 that can play as a player in behind. So maybe even I like that. I like the test, the experiment we did one time where we played Dani Olmo at false nine. Remember?
Yeah, I love that.
That was very, very nice.
I was okay with that.
We've seen that with Spain plenty of times. So I don't know why we've not seen that a lot of times. I just think that it's the sake of that. I mean, it's not wrong because we're talking about one of the greatest strikers in this generation. I mean, I think we're talking about, is it the third best striker of the generation?
We talked about this. Third best forward, I think, potentially.
Third best forward?
Potentially.
Do you consider, like, if you take out Messi, Ronaldo? I don't think so.
Who else do you put up there?
Neymar.
Fuck off. Absolutely not.
Bro,
Absolutely
Neymar?
not.
What do you mean?
You are basing that off of dribbling ability as opposed to
more talent.
Actual. Yeah. More talent. that is wasted. Lying on the floor.
That counts as way more than whatever goals Lewandowski can score.
If we're going off of potential talent,
if you ask Lewandowski, he wishes he was Neymar. Like, I can guarantee you.
Pause. Nobody. I was gonna say nobody wishes they were Neymar. I'm sure plenty of people wish they were Neymar. No. There's no way Lewandowski would trade. There's no way. There's no way. 0% chance that if a genie showed up in front of Lewandowski and said, "Hey, I will grant you the wish of trading careers with Neymar. Would you like that?" There's no way Lewandowski goes.
But we're not talking about career. We're talking about footballer in general.
So you're saying that Lewandowski would swap skill sets, swap abilities?
We'll swap Neymar? Everything. I'm talking skill sets. I'm talking goals. I'm talking moments. I'm talking career. Nope. I'm talking trophies. Nope. I'm talking everything.
I would rather be Lewandowski than Neymar.
Nah, Neymar all day, bro.
I just can't.
Neymar all day, bro. Let us know in the comments down below. Neymar or Lewandowski?
Whose career would you rather have? That's
not the question. That's not the question.
Why is that not the question? Who is
the better footballer? Who is the greatest best forward of the generation? And Lewandowski is not even fourth. It's Luis Suarez.
I kind of want to agree with you on that. I kind of do what
Lewandowski. I would say Lewandowski's fifth.
And I would even now that we're going down the rabbit hole, I would actually put Lewandowski fifth.
I would put Lewandowski fifth.
I would throw in Mo Salah. I throw in Mo Salah.
What, fourth?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's.
Yep. I'll go Messi.
That's
Ronaldo,
for another video, bro. But you're
Luis
wrong.
Suarez, Mo Salah, Lewandowski. Neymar doesn't even make my top 10, dude.
You're just
not even in my top 10, dude.
What are you talking, bro?
He broke my heart, Buga. He broke my heart.
Immature.
Never will he be in my top 10.
Immature. You just don't know how to heal.
There's something special about a 20-year-old calling me
immature. I'm telling you. It's easy. It's Messi, it's Ronaldo, it's Neymar, it's Suarez, it's Lewandowski. That's it. But yeah, let us know in the comments down below what's your top 5 greatest forwards of a generation. But like I was saying, Lewandowski does deserve to play, in a sense, a lot of games. But it does make sense what you were saying, that sometimes you do need other players. So Dani Olmo, Ferran Torres, I would like to see that a lot more. We are seeing Ferran Torres enter a lot of games, and I don't know the stat precisely, but I think he has like a goal every 87 minutes, which is insane. You know?
Yeah.
Shark baby. And then my friend always asks me, like, why do you support Ferran Torres so much? And I'm like, apart because he changed my life and my entire mentality. He's just a good footballer. Why does he get so much hate? He's really good. I guarantee. I keep saying, if Barcelona reaches Champions League final, he's gonna score a goal.
Yeah,
I kid you not. If it's one of those games where it's just like 2-1 or 3-1, he comes in the 70th minute, 80th minute, he scored 2 goals.
Yeah,
that's the sort of guy he is.
Oh my goodness! All right, we've gone so off the rails here. We are how far into this are we? We're almost 30 minutes in, and we've got other things we got to cover. So let's move forward here. Quick question. So with Barca top of La Liga, we still have to play Atletico Madrid. We still have to play Real Madrid. Is there anybody else on the fixture list that gives you some concern, that gives you some hesitation, that makes you go, ooh, that's going to be a tricky one? Is there anyone that stands out to you there?
Let me open a Liga Excel from this guy.
Because I think I'm scrolling through, and there's really only one other fixture that makes me worried.
Will we know if Real Sociedad is at home or away?
We're at home against Sociedad. And Sociedad's not having a great season, but defensively they're still doing pretty well.
What about
So
Celta?
I'm not worried about Celta.
Celta is away or home?
Celta is at home on April 20th.
And what about, you know which one I'm worried about?
Tell me.
If it's going the way that it's going, I'm worried about Espanyol.
Away to Espanyol could be tricky, sure.
And I'm worried about Athletic.
That's the one. I'm worried about last match of the season, Athletic Club, who could potentially be fighting for a Champions League spot.
Yeah.
That concerns
They could potentially be fighting for a lot more.
What in what sense?
They're fourth.
Yeah, but they're 10 points back. Yeah, I can't see Atletico dropping enough points to have them.
Do you know that currently as we're recording this video, they're just beating Valladolid 7-1.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, I think Athletic Club.
I'm just gonna send you this new picture in the group chat. Please check it out. I'm gonna put it as my profile picture.
Okay, I think Athletic Club, honestly, I think are underperforming this year. I thought they would have a better season. I think we could have had a 4-team race for this one. Yeah. So that fixture stands out to me, but it's in Barca's hands. So I'm feeling confident. I think we're favorites right now. Would you agree with that?
We are. What do you say? We're favorites?
We're favorites for La Liga right now, today.
I think we're favorites because we play the best football. And that always makes you favorites, but in reality, like, it's the points. You know, it's the points.
Sure.
It's the points, dude. It's a point.
Whoever scores more goals is going to win the game, you know?
That's how it is. Like, it doesn't really matter if you play good. Do you know what tweet I have pinned to my profile?
Tell me.
Close your eyes.
Okay.
To be the best at football, you don't have, and this applies to everything in life. To be the best at football, you don't have to play the best, but you have to believe you are the best. That's the difference.
That's deep. Whose quote is that?
Not mine. I made it
That's
up.
You? Wow. My goodness. Baby Booga the philosopher.
But you know what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. Okay. Let us know in the comments if you're feeling confident, if you're feeling like Barca are favorites, or maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let us know. Let's talk about Atleti, dude. That's our next match. Tuesday. It's coming up fast. We got to play Atleti three times.
That's such a drag, bro.
Yeah. We play them Tuesday, the February 25th. We play them then in La Liga, March 16th. And then we have the turnaround for the second leg in April. And it's crazy that you got to go. That I almost wish they would just make
a month apart. What?
It's a month apart. I wish they would make a gentleman's agreement and go, hey, let's swap the second leg with the La Liga fixture so that we have first leg in February, second leg in March, and then finish the La Liga tie in April. I would rather they just make a gentleman's agreement and do that. It's so silly, but it reminds me of that time. What was it, like 2011, I think it was, where we had to play Real Madrid like 3 or 4 times in a short span because of Copa del Rey, La Liga, and I could be crazy. Champions League as well. There was something going on where we played them stupid amount of times.
We played them like 5 times in a month.
Yeah, it was something silly like that. So, anyway, are we going full starting 11? Because here's our fixture list coming up. Tuesday the 25th, Atletico Madrid, home. Sunday, March 2nd, Real Sociedad, home. Wednesday, March 5th, Benfica away in Champions League. Those are the 3 that I'm looking at. And then we get a little breather against Osasuna. I'm going to prioritize Atletico Madrid, full starting 11. I might have a couple of rotations versus Sociedad. And by that, I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but I think we give Pedri a little bit of a break in that match. I would do a midfield of like Frankie, Gavi, Olmo, something like that. I would maybe start Ferran Torres in that match, and I would maybe start Garcia in that match. I think those three players should get some playing time against Sociedad, just so that we get some rotations, get some rest before going into Benfica.
I just realized this is brutal, bro.
It's kind of brutal, dude.
It really is brutal.
Yeah.
To March 16 is absolutely brutal. I think it's a moment where like we cannot think about these games as rotations in the sense of like this is not a situation where we're out of a competition. So we cannot do the thing where we just put 11 players out. You know, this is a situation where we're fighting for everything. And this is a situation where you have to think, like we were talking before at the start of this podcast, where you go like, okay, I'm playing Atlético Madrid at home. What do we need? We need to, I'd say this first leg is one where we need to win this game. I think the second leg and the way that we look at it is one where perhaps, you know, we have the Copa de Catalunya semi-final against Espanyol. Maybe that's one of those games where we can rotate a little bit more. So maybe actually you can rotate a little bit more against Atletico Madrid now. And maybe that's where you can give Pedri the rest, you know? You have to think about it, or not the rest, but that's maybe where you can go and be like, maybe I can go a little more direct football. Maybe that's what I need to do, a more direct approach. And you have to think about the strategy. You have to think about how you have to go like that. So maybe you go Frankie, you go Casado to recover the ball higher up in the pitch, you know, and then you go Dani Olmo, someone that can pinpoint the balls very quickly, very fast onto Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Lamine Yamal. Maybe that's the way that you go, you know. Real Sociedad, I think, is going to be, you mentioned it, a tighter defense, great defense. So you have to have someone like Pedri in there 100%. And then against Benfica, I think it's away from home. That's going to be an intense game. It was
intense, dude.
Intense game. So that game, that's where I want my full team. So I feel that that's how I think we built up. I think this first semifinal, you know what? I think we dip our toes on the water, you know, and we start setting the mood. You know, we light up the candles.
Pour a glass of wine.
Put
on some smooth R&B. That baby making music.
The Weeknd.
we just get things warmed up, get things heated, get the bodies loose before we get fully cooking and take Benfica to Pound Town, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm into that. I like that. All right, prediction for Atletico Madrid then. Leg 1 of the semifinal.
I think with all of that being said, let me see. I need to study Atletico Madrid a bit more. Can you start with it? Can you start your prediction?
4-1 Barcelona.
What? I just gave you
Barcelona.
The entire thing.
4-1 Barcelona.
You are very... What's the word in English? Wait.
I'm excited for this one.
You're premature.
I am not premature. What are you talking about, premature? Absolutely not. Don't talk to me like that. 4-1 Barcelona.
You go super fast early, and you're gonna waste all your energy.
No. 4-1 Barcelona. 2 goals from Lewandowski. Goal from Rafinha. Goal from Dani Olmo off the bench. 4-1 Barcelona.
I think it's gonna be a tough game. I think they're gonna make it very difficult. Very, very, very sluggish. Very difficult. I think Atletico Madrid come off a good game against Real Madrid. I think they come off a struggling game against Celta Vigo with the red card against Barrios. With Barrios very early on, I think they could have done a much better game with him and having more men for a longer stretch of the game. The 3-0 win against Valencia. Julián Álvarez se está saliendo. He's incredible. I think that with that being said, it's going to be one of those games where maybe we get early lead 1-0. Hopefully we can put ourselves in that position. Mm-hmm. And we can struck. I'm between 2-0 and 2-1, maybe 1. You know what? I'm gonna go 1-0 victory. I'm gonna go 1-0 victory. I'm gonna go 1-0 victory, and I'm gonna go 1-0 victory. I don't know the score.
Say it. Say it from your heart. Who's getting that goal?
I'm gonna go Lewandowski.
Okay, all right. Sociedad, I'm going 1-0. I think that's going to be a very tight match. I think Sociedad either third or fourth fewest goals conceded this season. They're just not putting them in the back of the net. So I think that match is going to be a little bit tight. I'm going 1-0. I'm going to say a goal from Rafinha.
I think that's where we're going to go. What do you call it?
Go ham.
To Poundland.
Pound Town. You said Poundland.
You know what? You know why I say that? Because I just remember in the UK, like Dollar City.
Yeah.
In UK, there's a store called
Poundland.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's hilarious! Wow. That's
they have
good.
Poundland.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, no. They have Poundland.
Pound Town is what I'm talking about. Poundland.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna go to Pound Town.
Oh my god!
I think we're gonna win 4-1 there.
Okay. Wow. All right. So opposite predictions going.
Yeah,
in.
Exactly.
We'll talk predictions for Benfica next week, obviously, but just quickly overall, looking at the bracket, this could not have fallen any better for Barcelona, I don't think. On the top half of the bracket, there's PSV versus Arsenal, Real Madrid versus Atleti, which is going to be just a slugfest. PSG versus Liverpool, which I'm pretty excited to watch. And then Club Brugge, Aston Villa. Whoever wins that is just going to get served up to the Wolves. Then on the bottom half of the bracket, Benfica, Barca, Dortmund, Lille, Munich, Leverkusen, Feyenoord, Inter. We got the better half of the table 100%. For sure.
Let's
100%.
I love this. I love the brackets when we know everything.
Yes, I agree.
I love that.
I love it's better that way.
Yeah. So let's go quick, bro. Let's go
quick.
Bang.
Let's put a bow on this, but you want to just predict the whole table, just rapid fire?
No, let's do it, and let's see the final, and let's.
Okay. All right. PSV Arsenal. It's probably going to be Arsenal, but I really, really want it to be PSV because, one, screw Arsenal. Two, lots of American representation at PSV. But whoever wins that is going to get served up to, I'm assuming, Real Madrid and get humped.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that quick because I want to make a clip out of it.
it's going to be that quick. we got things to do, Booga. Okay. So I'm blowing through this. And we're going to have plenty of other time to discuss. We can do like a deeper dive in the next episode.
Okay, perfect.
PSG Liverpool. I'm going to go Liverpool, and I'm going to go Club Brugge over Aston Villa actually, because Villa have been kind of inconsistent, but then Liverpool. Move through after that.
Let's do that. So you go. Your first quarterfinal is Arsenal Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I think it's Arsenal versus Real Madrid. I would like Atleti to win, but I think Real Madrid always get the hand of them.
Yeah.
It's always been tight.
Especially over 2 legs.
It's over 2 legs? No, but over 2 legs, it has always been a little bit tight. I mean, last time it wasn't with a Chicharito goal, but it's until that point, it's been tight, like until a decisive moment. I would like to see how it goes. And particularly this Real Madrid side of Ancelotti, Atleti has sort of always had their number. They haven't been able to beat them yet. Last season, the only team that beat them, or the only time they haven't won, was against Atleti twice this season. Yeah. And this season, they've drawn twice. So, interesting. So, yeah, I agree with you. Arsenal, Real Madrid. Then I think Paris beats Liverpool. I think PSG are playing really good football. And I think upset.
I think that's an illusion.
I think that is an illusion. And I think Aston Villa beats Club Brugge.
Okay. So you got PSG versus Aston Villa.
Yeah. And then
who comes out of that one?
I think PSG, Aston Villa. I think PSG.
Okay, you go in Real Madrid or Arsenal?
I think Real Madrid.
So you're going what? PSG, Real Madrid in the semifinal?
Yeah.
I could see that happening, but I just think it's going to be Liverpool. I'd go Real Madrid, Liverpool in the semifinal, and then who wins out of that?
I think PSG because I could just not take a final of Real Madrid.
I think if it's PSG, Real Madrid go through. I think if it's Liverpool, Liverpool go through.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Then the other side.
The other side, baby. Honestly, Benfica might be the trickiest fixture for Barcelona.
I think Benfica is really tricky. Like I don't think what
it's
people think...
it's trickier than what people think, especially just look back at our most recent performances against Benfica in Champions League. It hasn't been great. Granted, we got Hansi Flick. It's a different era for Barca, but that still gives me concern. Yeah. I'm still going Barcelona, obviously.
Yeah.
Leo Dortmund's a toss-up for me. I want to go Dortmund.
I think it's Leo, actually.
I just don't know. Dortmund has a little bit more experience, I think, in this kind of competition. I wouldn't be shocked. It's kind of a toss-up for me, to be honest. I'm fine taking on either one of those clubs. I think Barcelona beat them. So I think it's actually a pretty clear run for Barca to get to the semifinal. If we're looking at Bayern versus Leverkusen, I might go Leverkusen. Because I think it's going to come down to the coaching.
I think in that one I agree, but I do think that I don't know. I think Bayern always has something about it, and I think that I would go Bayern. I think Bayern would go through on that one.
Okay. Feyenoord Inter. I'm tempted to go Feyenoord because they just knocked out AC Milan, but Inter are a little bit more secure, a little bit more consistent than AC Milan this year. Yeah. So I'm going Inter versus. I'll go Inter versus Bayern. I'll go Inter versus Bayern. Who do you think wins that one?
I think Inter wins that one.
I'm inclined to agree with you, actually. So we're saying Inter Barcelona in a semifinal.
Yeah.
We got to go through. We have the chance here to redeem ourselves like almost completely for the last few years of poor performances and embarrassments. In this year, we could have overcome Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Benfica, and Inter Milan. Which give me a Liverpool in the final, dude, and we've defeated all of our ghosts.
Yeah, that's the what I've heard. Like, if Barcelona beat Benfica, that's you know what, you surprise us. Then you beat Inter, and then you beat Liverpool in the final. That's your goal.
That's what I'm saying. And we get the monkey off our back. We get the chip off our shoulder. It's like we've defeated our past.
Yeah, that would be so amazing. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do
it, baby.
Barcelona versus Benfica. Then we beat Lille. Then we beat Inter in the semifinals. And then, you know what? For that sake, I'm just want Liverpool to go all the way. I'm going to support Liverpool. I'm going to support Liverpool
all the way to the final.
All the way to the final, just so that we can beat them. I'm going to do that.
Yes, let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I'm excited. I got chills. Buga. Let's see if my camera will focus on it.
Let's do that. Liverpool.
I got chills. Okay. All right. We're going to end on that exciting note.
Yeah.
I'm pumped. I'm excited for this season. I am thankful for our listeners. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We did miss last week. It happens. We got lives. We got other things going on. It happens. We're human beings. But we're glad that you're here. We're glad that you're sticking with us as we continue to grow this podcast. We will be back next week to discuss Copa del Rey, Real Sociedad, and really get ready for that Benfica match in Champions League. So lots more to come. Leave your comments. Leave us some love. We appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who commented a shark emoji a couple of weeks ago when we asked for that. That was awesome to see. It really shows that you all are listening, that you're engaged, and you're showing us some love. So we definitely appreciate that. And we will be back with another episode of MES Podcast next Monday, my friends. We'll see you then.